Every single XRP beginner video on YouTube is telling you the same thing. They explain what Ripple is, they walk you through the lawsuit, they tell you XRP is fast and cheap, and then they leave you with absolutely nothing you can actually use. And look, those videos aren't wrong, but they're dangerously incomplete because the 5 things they leave out are the exact 5 things that will determine whether you actually build wealth with XRP or end up holding a bag wondering what went wrong. I'm going to walk you through all 5 right now, and I need you to pay close attention to number 4, because what's happening in the market right now is something most people are completely misreading. If you're serious about XRP, hit that subscribe button because I put out daily XRP news and analysis that goes way deeper than the surface level stuff you're seeing everywhere else. Let's get into it. The first thing beginner guides get wrong is that they tell you the SEC lawsuit is over, and then they move on like it's old news. Yes, Ripple settled for $125 million. Yes, Judge Torres ruled that XRP sold on exchanges is not a security. That part is true. But here's what nobody tells you. That court ruling is not law. It's a single judge's opinion in one district court. It can be challenged. It can be ignored by other courts. And right now, the actual law that would make XRP's status permanent is still sitting in Congress. It's called the Clarity Act, officially known as the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. The House passed it last July with a massive bipartisan vote, 294 to 134. That's not even close. That's overwhelming support. But the Senate is where things get complicated. The Senate Agriculture Committee just advanced its version of the bill on January 29th on a party line vote. The Senate Banking Committee's version is still stalled because of a fight over whether stablecoin providers should be allowed to pay interest on holdings. Coinbase pulled their support over this exact issue. The White House has been hosting meetings trying to broker a deal between traditional banks and crypto companies, but as of right now, they're still at an impasse. So why does this matter for you? Because the Clarity Act would officially classify XRP as a digital commodity, not a security. That's not just a legal technicality. That classification is the key that unlocks the door for pension funds, insurance companies, endowments, and the massive pools of institutional money that are currently sitting on the sidelines waiting for legal certainty before they can touch XRP. The lawsuit ending was Chapter 1. The Clarity Act passing is Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 hasn't been written yet. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think the Clarity Act passes this year? I want to hear your take. The second thing beginner guides get wrong is about Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD. Most beginner videos either don't mention it at all or they frame it as a potential competitor to XRP. I've seen people argue that if banks can use RLUSD for payments, they don't need XRP, which would make the token pointless. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings in the entire XRP ecosystem right now. Let me explain why RLUSD actually makes XRP more valuable, not less. RLUSD just crossed $1.52 billion in market cap. That's a 100% increase in less than 6 months. Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world, just completed integration of RLUSD on the XRP ledger this week. That's massive. But here's the part everyone misses. RLUSD runs on the XRP ledger. Every single RLUSD transaction requires a small amount of XRP to pay the network fee. More RLUSD activity means more XRP gets burned in transaction fees. More RLUSD adoption means more liquidity on the XRP ledger. More liquidity attracts more institutions. More institutions means more demand for XRP as a bridge asset. RLUSD isn't replacing XRP, it's feeding it. Think of it this way. RLUSD is the on-ramp that gets traditional finance comfortable with the XRP ledger. Once they're on the ledger, using RLUSD, the jump to using XRP directly for settlement and liquidity becomes much smaller. Ripple designed this deliberately. They're not competing with their own token. They're building an ecosystem where every piece drives demand back to XRP. If this is making sense, smash that like button because this is the kind of analysis you won't find in any beginner guide. The third thing beginner guides get wrong might be the most important one. They tell you XRP is a payments token and leave it there. Fast payments, low fees, replacement for Swift. That was the pitch in 2017. And honestly, it's still what most people think XRP is about. But while everyone was watching the lawsuit, Ripple quietly transformed the entire XRP ledger into something much bigger. 2 days ago, Ripple announced a partnership with Aviva Investors. Aviva is the asset management arm of one of the largest insurance companies in the UK. They manage £246 billion in assets. That's not a crypto startup. That's one of the heavyweights of traditional finance. And what are they doing? They're tokenizing traditional investment funds on the XRP ledger. This is Ripple's first partnership with a European investment management firm for fund tokenization. This is Aviva's first ever move into tokenized fund structures, and they chose the XRP ledger over every other blockchain available. This is what the beginner guides miss entirely. XRP is no longer just about replacing Swift. The XRP ledger is positioning itself as the infrastructure layer for tokenized real-world assets. We're talking about investment funds, bonds, treasuries, diamonds, real estate. In the UAE, Billiton Diamond just tokenized $280 million worth of polished diamonds on the XRP ledger. Zan Bank is connecting stablecoins through the network. This is happening right now, not in some theoretical future. Ripple's president, Monica Long, just said at XRP Community Day that 2026 is the year of institutional adoption at scale. Brad Garlinghouse said Ripple is done playing defense after 2.5 years and is now going on offense with major acquisitions and strategic partnerships. The XRP ledger has processed over 4 billion transactions since launch. It supports over 7 million wallets. It handles 1,500 transactions per second. And it does all of this with near zero energy consumption. When you understand that XRP is not just a payments coin, but the infrastructure layer for the tokenization of the entire financial system, the investment thesis changes completely. Share this video with one XRP holder who still thinks this is just about fast payments. They need to hear this. Now here's number 4, and this is the one I told you to pay close attention to. XRP is sitting at around $1.36 today. It's down 65% from its all-time high of $3.65 hit last July. The entire crypto market has been in a brutal downturn. The total market cap has fallen to $2.3 trillion, down 47% from last year's peak. And if you listen to the mainstream financial media, they'll tell you this means XRP is in trouble. Here's what they're not telling you. While the price has been crashing, institutions have been buying. 7 spot XRP ETFs are now trading in the United States with combined assets under management of $1 billion. The cumulative net inflows since launch in November have reached $1.3 billion. And here's the really telling part. In early February, while Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs were bleeding capital with net outflows, XRP ETFs pulled in $51 million in net inflows. Let me say that again. Bitcoin and Ethereum products were losing money. XRP products were gaining money. Franklin Templeton's XRP ETF and Bitwise's XRP ETF each captured roughly $20 million in February alone. XRP ETFs went over 50 straight trading days without a single net outflow after launch. That's something Bitcoin and Ethereum couldn't claim when their ETFs launched. So you have institutional money flowing in through ETFs. You have Aviva with $246 billion in assets choosing the XRP ledger. You have RLUSD exploding past $1.5 billion in market cap, and the price is sitting at $1.36. Does that sound like a dying asset to you? Or does that sound like a massive disconnection between what's happening behind the scenes and what the price is showing you right now? The technical indicators are screaming oversold. The RSI on the daily chart dropped to around 20, which is the most oversold reading in XRP's recent history. Historically, When XRP gets this oversold, it bounces 15 to 40% within 2 weeks. The on-chain data shows that the selling pressure is coming from retail liquidations, not institutional exits. Whales are not selling, they're accumulating. How much XRP are you holding right now? Drop your bag size in the comments, because I have a feeling the people watching this video are going to look back at this moment and either be very glad they paid attention or very sorry they didn't. And that brings me to number 5, the one that ties everything together. The 5th thing beginner guides get wrong is that they make you feel like you have all the time in the world. They give you the history, they explain the technology, they say maybe the price goes up and maybe it doesn't, and then you close the video feeling informed but doing absolutely nothing. Here's the reality. There are specific catalysts converging right now with actual deadlines. The Clarity Act is working its way through the Senate. If it passes, it would classify XRP as a digital commodity and open the floodgates for institutional capital. Analysts project this could unlock $8 billion or more in additional ETF inflows. The market structure bill needs to pass before the 2026 midterm elections. That's not some vague future timeline. That's this year. If it doesn't pass before the midterms, the window could close for months or even years. Ripple's Aviva partnership is developing through 2026. The tokenization of traditional fund structures on the XRP ledger is happening now. RLUSD just listed on Binance's XRP ledger integration and is expanding to Ethereum Layer 2 chains. Grayscale's fee waiver expires on February 24th, which will widen the fee differential across XRP ETF products and could trigger a rotation of capital. And Ripple itself just raised $500 million at a $40 billion valuation from Fortress Investment Group and Citadel Securities. These are not speculative crypto funds. Fortress and Citadel are among the most sophisticated financial institutions on the planet. They don't write $500 million checks on hope. They write them on data. Every single one of these catalysts has a timeline attached to it. And if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for confirmation, waiting for the price to start moving before you pay attention, you need to understand something. By the time the price confirms what the fundamentals are already telling you, the opportunity has already passed. That's how markets work. The price is the last thing to move, not the first. Now I want to be absolutely clear about something. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy XRP or any other asset. What I am telling you is that the beginner guides are giving you chapter 1 of a 5-chapter story, and the other 4 chapters are where the actual alpha is. The lawsuit ending was the setup, the Clarity Act, the ETF inflows, the RLUSD ecosystem, the tokenization partnerships, the institutional adoption at scale. That's the real story, and it's unfolding right now in 2026. If you got value from this, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe for daily XRP analysis, and share this with someone who's still stuck on the beginner version of the XRP story. Want the technical edge? Join my XRP army to unlock my member-only weekly analysis and XRP trade targets. It's basically 2 coffees a month for the data the public misses. I'll see you in the next one.